Hello, everyone. It's indeed inspiring to see you back again. In this session, we are talking about programs. Then we will see different types of programming languages. We will see what is a process. After that, we will see what is compiler and interpreter. We will also check what are algorithms. And at last, we will see what are OOPS concepts. So I hope you will enjoy the session.
Programming paradigms, you can understand them like programming types. So there are different programming languages and they fall under different types. I will walk you through the very fundamental and basics of programming. The first topic we have is program. Let us discuss and understand what exactly is program. Let's plan a trip. So if we are planning a trip, let's say we start from Maharashtra and we are planning for Shimla. So if we are planning for Shimla and we know that in between we will find Ujjain also, which is a tourist place. So this is basically a program. We are making a tour program. Very similar way, if I want my computer to do something, in that case I need to write a program. Program is a set of instructions. On the screen you can see that example 1 is start walking, stop, sit down. This is a simple example where three instructions are given. So this is an example of a program. Another program example is power on the computer, press the start button on keyboard, click on settings. This is another example which is a set of instructions. So program is nothing but set of instructions. Let us move ahead and try to understand what exactly is programming. Programming is basically to create a program. That means basically to write a set of instructions. Now, this programming is done with the help of a programming language. And you are right, we are discussing programming language now. So, programming language is a computer understandable language which helps us to write a program. And when we are writing a program, that is also called as coding. The next thing I would like to discuss is process. A process is program in execution. When a program is executed, then basically it is in running state. This running state is known as a process. For example, if you open up a PowerPoint presentation, then you see that that presentation is running. And if you open up a task manager, then you will see that multiple processes are being run. So they are nothing but processes. They are running because there are certain set of instructions which were written as a program with the help of some programming language. And today we are using them, and at the background some processes are running. Now, the next part is compiler and interpreter. These are very fundamentals and basics which every student must know. Compiler. Compiler is something which will listen to you as a whole. For example, let's say I tell you a story and you listen to the story completely. And after that, if I ask you to translate the story in your own mother tongue and you are able to wonderfully translate the whole of the story, you are playing a role as a compiler because compiler listen to the whole of the code and then it translates that code into machine understandable code. Whereas interpreter is basically if I tell you the same story, but this time I'm telling you the story line by line. I'm telling you first line and then you are translating it into your mother tongue. Then I'm telling you the second line. Then again you are translating. And similar way, I told you line by line and you interpreted the whole of the story line by line. Now I believe you must have understood. The compiler, it compiles the code or it translates the code completely at once. Whereas interpreter, it basically goes line by line, line by line. But both of them produce a machine code, or you can say a code which is understandable by the machine.
I hope you understood the concept of compiler and interpreter. For code execution, Python uses compiler or interpreter. Let me know in the comment section.
The next topic is algorithms. Now, this is a wonderful topic. Algorithm is something which we deal with every day, knowingly or unknowingly. Let me ask you, let's say if you are hungry and nobody is at home, Will you remain hungry for a long time? I believe no. You will find out a way to basically feed yourself. So now how will you do this? You may go online on Zomato and you may book something, you may order something online. The other option could be you may go to the kitchen and search for some food, and if some food is available, you can just find it and have it. Some more options could be there. You may prepare something which can be quickly prepared. So now I have told you three solutions to basically satisfy your hunger. And these three solutions are nothing but algorithms. If you write down these three solutions step by step, that basically means that you are writing an algorithm. Algorithm need not to be written in any specific programming language. It can be written in English, in any of the other languages you know, because algorithm is just step by step solution to a problem. Now, when this step by step solution is written, this solution is referred by programmers to create a program using a programming language like Python, R, C, C++, or Java. I have one more example over here. If you basically want to buy a cup of tea, in that case, you will check for the tea shop, you will check for the balance amount, and if the balance amount is sufficient, then you will order. Otherwise, you will not order a cup of tea. So, this is an example, again, an algorithm. Let us move ahead and now understand programming paradigms. Programming paradigms are basically types of programming languages. As per the need of the hour, different programmers, researchers, and communities they contributed to develop multiple programming languages. Here I have listed the four programming paradigms: procedural programming, object oriented programming, logical programming, and functional programming. Let me help you with all of them. The first one is procedural programming. Before procedural programming also, I believe we should also discuss about evolution of programming languages. The programming languages they started with binaries like zeros and ones, and then they entered into assembly level, and then came procedural programming. Zeros and ones, the tough days. But after that, assembly level came, where we had mnemonics. Mnemonics, you can take them as keywords. Keywords are basically used like for multiplication, you can use mul keyword. For addition, you can use add. So similar way, the life became easy. But it was just like a calculator. So when procedural programming came, it was a very happy moment. Now let me explain you about procedural programming language. Procedural programming is all about step by step execution. Let me once ask you, did you ever made a cup of tea at home? If the answer is yes, would you please help me with the recipe? Thank you very much. I know you can write it down and give it to me. Now, if you see your recipe, you have written all the steps step 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Now, this basically step by step process, if I'll be following, will I be able to make a cup of tea? Obviously, yes. So, if I follow the recipe step by step, then successfully I'll be able to make a cup of tea. This is a pattern which procedural programming follows. But let's say if I follow the step number 1 first, and then I jump to the step number 10, and then again I come back to step number 2. What do you think? What will I be making up? Obviously, it will be all, you know, something bad will happen. So, this basically is not a proper way of following a recipe. So, procedural programmings, they are actually step by step execution of a program. C programming is one of the examples of procedural programming. Let us move towards the next one. Next one is object oriented programming. Just imagine if I want to represent a cup into programming language, if I want to represent a burner in the programming language, if I want to represent milk in programming language, is it possible to do it with a procedural programming? The answer is no. It's clear cut no. So, what do I need? I need something which can represent the real time objects into a programming language. And it comes up with object oriented programming. Object oriented programming has got certain concepts. The concepts are classes and objects, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, and encapsulation. So these concepts actually enable us to represent real-time object. Not only just represent, but also we can have interaction between them. Let me help you with very brief of these concepts. Classes and objects. Class is a blueprint. Let me tell you, we all are humans. In general terms, if I say that a human being is coming, so this is a very generic way. But if I say a human being is coming, you must be curious to know that who exactly is coming. So if I say that Mr. Tripathi is coming, so now you are very much specific that Mr. Tripathi is somebody, a human being, but specifically I'm telling about Mr. Tripathi. So Mr. Tripathi is coming. So class is human, but Mr. Tripathi is object. So object is a specific human being I'm referring to. Similar way, birds. So bird is a class. But if I bring a bird and if I name the bird as, let's say, Lily, so now Lily, the bird name, is a specific bird. So in this case, bird, Lily is an object and the word bird is a class. So classes and objects, they help in programming languages to create real-time objects in a program. Now, once the objects are created, then what happens? Then basically there is abstraction. For example, if you're using a mobile right now, do you know how that start and stop button actually function? How that functionality is implemented? Most of us don't know. Actually, we need not to know. This is called as abstraction. Abstraction actually tells us what exactly is to be done. But how it is to be done, that is not really important. If you are driving a car and if you see that some car which is in front of you is about to stop, what you will do? Will you start to identify the functionality of the brake? Will you get into the mechanism of how exactly the brake is being applied? Obviously, no. You will simply do one thing. You will just apply the brake. You know that you have to apply brake. You need not to know that how the brake is actually getting applied. This is called as abstraction. Polymorphism. Polymorphism is that one particular entity can have different forms. For example, like us human beings also have got different functionalities. For example, now you are listening to this, so you must be listening it as a student, so you have a different role. Once you are done with this session, then you will go out with your friends and have fun. You are a friend now. Once you will come back, you will have dinner with your brother. You are a brother now. So you are a single entity, but you are playing different roles. This is called as polymorphism. Poly means many, morph means forms. So we can have this kind of behavior implemented in a programming language, and that is called as polymorphism. The next example is of inheritance. Inheritance is basically, let me take your example itself. So when you were a kid, you must have heard your grandparents, your uncle and auntie saying, your nose is just looking like your mother. His smile, look at his smile. He smiles just like his father. So we are inheriting some of the attributes and properties from our parents. The same property is here. Let me give you some other example. I was driving a car and I found that the car is exactly resembling some other car also. And later on I found that both the car companies are using almost same materials, same equipments to make the same chassis to make the both cars. So what both cars are doing, they are basically inheriting some of the common properties and then some more modifications are being done. This is called as inheritance. Then we have encapsulation. Encapsulation is a concept that if you're reading a book is not a single entity. Book is collection of certain things. Now, what are these certain things? These things are who that book is being written by, the author, the book price, then the number of pages in the book, the number of chapters. So, all these are the things which a book comprises of. So, anything in the real world you see, that thing is collection of multiple things. If I talk about a camera, camera is just not just a lamp. Camera is not just a focus lens. No, camera has got lot of things, and camera is being made up of lot of things. That is called as encapsulation. Another example I'll give you. If you have eaten up a capsule is basically encapped by certain small pills. Okay, some medicines are there. Okay, circular pills are there. So that is again encapped by a layer. That is encapsulation. These are the concepts which come under object-oriented programming language. So C++ and Java programming, these are two languages which also follow object-oriented programming, and there are many.
So, as you understood the concept of OOPS, now I want you to think about some examples from your side about OOPS, like abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance, and encapsulation.
Let me help you with the logical programming. Logical programming is, let's say you visit a doctor and you see that there is a queue, and in the queue there are hundreds of people who are sitting over there. Now, 100 people, you will see that it's better to come the next day. But you observe that the doctor is asking same question to almost everybody. Let's say on an average, the doctor asks about 10 questions, and out of 10 questions, 6 or 7 questions are common. Then you come up with an idea to the doctor. You say, Doctor, I have an idea. I can give you a program which can ask these common 6 questions to each of the patients. This is going to save your time. 60% of the time when you ask your questions goes into the common questions. And then what you did? You basically did a program, and the program was something like, if this question is being asked, then the patient will reply something. If the patient replies A, then next question should be something else. If the patient replies B, then the next question should be something else. So you logically developed a program with the help of if else, then. Okay, that's how you develop the program. And that really helped the doctor. So if you see that in logical programming, we have some set of rules or some set of logics, and based on that, we create a program. Almost many programming languages follow this paradigm, but Prolog is a programming language specially designed for logical programming. Let us move ahead and move to the next part, which is functional programming. You can see the name itself, functional programming. That means that functions are very much important in this programming language. One of the good thing in functional programming is they are very shorthand. So in functional programming, functions are primary citizens. That means the number of functions present in this programming languages are maximum. And whatever you want, you can do it with the help of functions. These programming languages give you an option to utilize packages and use their functions to accomplish something. Okay, it may be mathematical operations, it may be analytical operations, it may be some sort of machine learning, artificial intelligence operations. Python, R, and Scala, they are example of functional programming languages. Now let me tell you one thing important. One programming language may fall under more than one type. For example, Python programming, it comes under functional programming. Yes, that is true. But it also comes under object-oriented programming. If you really wish to write a procedural program with the help of Python, you can even do that. So one programming language falls under more than one paradigm. For Python, Python is basically following 3 or more paradigms, and it can also follow logical paradigm.
Before moving further, let me ask you a simple question. Python is what kind of language? Is it functional? Is it object oriented? Is it procedural? Or is it logical? Let me know in the comment section. So I hope you liked the video and all the concepts are clear to you. If you have any doubt, you can write us to the comment section. Like this video, share this video with your friends, and for more such content, you can subscribe to our channel. Thank you.